Every morning you wake up, you face two choices: to let the day control you or to control the day. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary isn't talent, it's mindset. The mindset that says, I will win today, no matter what. Start your day with intention, because how you begin determines how you end. The moment your eyes open, you've already been given the greatest gift of all, another chance. Another day to rise, to rebuild, to win. But here's the truth. Most people wake up and let the day decide for them. They grab their phone, scroll aimlessly, react to the world before they've even decided who they want to be that day. A winning mindset doesn't start by accident. It begins with awareness. When your feet touch the floor in the morning, that's not just a routine. It's a declaration that says, I'm here to win today. Winners understand that the morning isn't just about what they do. It's about what they decide. When you wake up with intention, you begin to take control of your energy, your focus, and your attitude. You don't allow external chaos to define your internal peace. Instead of saying, I have to go to work, you say, I get to create something valuable today. Instead of saying, I'm tired, you say, I'm grateful I have another opportunity to grow. It's not about pretending life is perfect. It's about choosing your perspective before the world gives you one. You decide your tone before the day tests your patience. You decide your energy before someone tries to drain it. You decide your direction before distractions appear. Every great achiever, every strong leader, every resilient human being begins their day with clarity. They know what they're aiming for, and they program their mind for victory before the noise begins. Whether it's through prayer, meditation, journaling, exercise, or simply taking a deep breath and setting an intention, they center themselves first. Because the mind is like a compass. If you set it in the right direction early, you won't get lost later. When you fail to set your intention, the day runs you. You become reactive, reacting to problems, reacting to stress, reacting to other people's moods. But when you start your day with purpose, you move differently. You don't chase peace, you carry it. You don't chase motivation, you create it. You begin to understand that the small moments, your morning thoughts, your first words, your first actions, are powerful seeds. And whatever you plant in the morning grows throughout the day. Winners don't wait for the day to feel right. They make it right. They rise early not because they have to, but because they've trained their minds to value time as their greatest ally. They start their day with gratitude, because a thankful mind is a focused mind. They plan, they visualize, they remind themselves who they are and what they stand for. They speak power over their lives before anyone else has a chance to speak doubt. That's what it means to start your day with intention, to step into every morning as the author of your own story, not as a reader of someone else's. Every sunrise is a silent invitation to create, to conquer, and to choose your mindset. And when you do that, when you truly set your intention, you no longer live by chance. You live by choice. And that's where daily victory begins. Feed your mind positivity, because what you feed your thoughts will eventually shape your reality. Your mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant there will grow, whether it's weeds of worry or seeds of strength. Too many people wake up every day feeding their mind with doubt, fear, and negativity from the world around them. They scroll through social media, comparing their behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel, and they wonder why they feel drained before the day has even started. A winning mindset cannot survive on toxic thoughts. It needs nourishment, thoughts that lift, words that build, and energy that expands. The most powerful transformation you can ever experience doesn't begin in your environment, it begins in your mind. Every time you tell yourself, I can't, your mind obeys. Every time you say, I will, your mind starts searching for a way. That's the power of what you feed it. The human brain believes what it hears repeatedly, whether it's truth or a lie. So if you constantly repeat failure, fear, and frustration, your mind will see those as facts. But if you feed it courage, faith, and confidence, you begin to rewire your reality. Winners know that the voice inside their head can either be their greatest enemy or their most powerful ally. That's why they protect it. They don't let negativity rent space in their minds for free. Feeding your mind positivity doesn't mean ignoring problems. It means refusing to give problems more attention than solutions. It means saying, yes, life is hard, but I am harder. It means replacing, what if I fail, with, what if I fly? It's about shifting from doubt to determination, from complaining to creating. Positive thinking isn't blind optimism. It's training your brain to see possibility even in pressure. When you practice gratitude, when you celebrate small wins, when you look for lessons instead of losses, you are feeding your mind strength. You are teaching yourself to find light even in darkness. There will always be people, places, and situations that drain your positivity. That's why it's your daily responsibility to refill your mental tank. Read something inspiring. Listen to uplifting voices. Spend time around people who believe in progress, not gossip. Speak life over yourself even when life feels heavy, because your words are energy, and energy creates atmosphere. The atmosphere around your life begins with the atmosphere inside your mind. You can't build a winning day on a losing thought. When you guard your mind like treasure, you protect your peace, your focus, and your potential. The world will always have noise, critics, and chaos, but the one who wins is the one who learns to stay centered in calm confidence. Every time negativity knocks, remind yourself, not today. My mind is under new management, because positivity isn't something that happens to you, it's something you choose. It's a decision you make again and again. To rise above the noise, to focus on what's good, to expect the best even when life throws its worst. Feed your mind positivity until it becomes your nature, until it's no longer effort but instinct, until when fear whispers, faith speaks louder. That's when you begin to live with an unshakable spirit. A spirit that doesn't wait for good days to feel good, but creates good days from within. That's the mindset that wins daily, not because life is easy, but because your thoughts are stronger than your circumstances. Discipline over motivation, that's the real secret of those who win daily. Motivation feels good, it's emotional, exciting, and often temporary, but discipline, that's where transformation happens. Motivation might get you started, but discipline keeps you going when the feeling fades, when the excitement disappears, when no one is watching. The truth is, there will be days you won't feel inspired, days when you wake up tired, unmotivated, and uncertain. Those are the days that separate the dreamers from the doers. The people who rely only on motivation stop when it gets hard. The people who build discipline keep moving because they've made consistency their identity. They don't wait to feel ready. They act because they've trained themselves to show up. No matter what, motivation depends on mood, but discipline depends on mindset. Winners understand that if you only work when you feel like it, you'll never reach your potential. Feelings change every hour, but discipline builds a rhythm that doesn't break under pressure. Discipline teaches your mind to stay loyal to your purpose long after your mood has left the room. It means doing what needs to be done even when every part of you wants to quit. It's setting your alarm early, not because you love waking up early, but because you love what it builds inside you. Control, focus, resilience. Every act of discipline is a small victory over the weaker version of yourself. And each time you win that inner battle, you grow stronger, more confident, more unstoppable. Think of any great achiever, athletes, leaders, artists, entrepreneurs. They didn't succeed because they felt motivated every day. They succeeded because they were disciplined enough to practice when no one clapped, to train when it was painful, to push forward when results were invisible. Discipline builds habits, and habits shape destiny. When you make discipline part of who you are, you no longer need to rely on external inspiration. You become your own source of energy. You start to respect yourself more because you keep your promises to yourself. That's a kind of power that no one can take away. Self-respect earned through consistency. There's a dangerous trap people fall into. They wait for motivation to start. They say, I'll do it when I feel ready, or I'll begin when I'm inspired. But readiness never comes fully formed. It's created through action. Discipline is about doing first, feeling later. The mind resists effort, but once you move, once you begin, momentum takes over. The hardest part is starting, but discipline makes starting a habit. You stop negotiating with laziness, and you start building momentum brick by brick, day by day. And the beauty of momentum is this: it becomes its own motivation. The more disciplined you are, the more progress you see. The more progress you see, the more inspired you feel. It becomes a cycle of strength. There's also freedom in discipline, a freedom most people never experience. People think discipline restricts them, but in truth, it liberates them from chaos, from inconsistency, from regret. It gives your life structure, focus, and direction. When you practice discipline, you begin to lead your life instead of being dragged by it. You start managing your time, your habits, and your emotions instead of letting them manage you. You stop saying, I wish, and start saying, I will. Every time you choose discipline, you are voting for your future self, for the person you are becoming. Discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about being committed. You will stumble. You will have lazy days. You will feel burned out. But the difference between those who quit and those who rise again is that the disciplined ones don't see failure as final. They see it as feedback. They take a breath, reset, and return to their routine, because to them, quitting is never an option. Discipline builds emotional strength. the ability to stay calm under stress, to keep working when results take time, to stay faithful to your process when progress is invisible. That's the kind of mental toughness that wins battles long before the world sees victory. When you live with discipline, you stop chasing quick fixes and start building permanent strength. You stop looking for motivation in others and start finding it in your own actions. You begin to understand that every small effort, every early morning, every repetition matters, even when no one sees it. Discipline is doing your best quietly, so one day your results speak loudly. Motivation is a spark, but discipline is the fire that never goes out. The day you master discipline is the day you stop being controlled by moods and start being guided by purpose. That's how you build a mindset that wins daily, through steady effort, unwavering commitment, and the courage to keep going when the excitement is gone. Reject excuses, because excuses are the invisible chains that keep people tied to mediocrity. Every time you make an excuse, you trade progress for comfort. Excuses sound harmless in the moment. They make you feel justified, even safe. But in reality, they slowly steal your potential, one small justification at a time. I'm too tired. I don't have time. It's not the right moment. I'll start tomorrow. These phrases may seem innocent, but they are silent killers of dreams. The truth is, there will never be a perfect time, a perfect environment, or perfect circumstances. Waiting for ideal conditions is just another excuse wearing the mask of logic. Winners understand that life doesn't hand you convenience, it hands you opportunity disguised as challenge. The moment you stop making excuses is the moment you take back your power. Excuses are comforting because they shift responsibility. They let you blame traffic, luck, people, or fate instead of facing yourself. But the price of that comfort is your control. When you make an excuse, you're saying, I am not in charge of my life, something else is. That mindset is the root of weakness. The strongest people you'll ever meet are not those who had the easiest paths. They are the ones who looked at every obstacle and said, no excuses, I'll find a way. They understand that excuses are easy, but excellence is earned. Excuses give you reasons to stop. Discipline gives you reasons to start again. People who win daily see excuses as poison to growth. They replace I can't with how can I? They don't wait for motivation or permission. They create momentum through accountability. Every time you reject an excuse, you strengthen your inner authority, that quiet voice that says, I am capable, I am responsible, and I can make it happen. When you silence excuses, you awaken the power of ownership, and ownership is where real growth begins. Because once you take full responsibility for your results, you also take full control of your destiny. You stop being a victim of circumstances and become a creator of outcomes. It's easy to blame the past, your upbringing, your environment, or your failures. But none of those have the right to decide your future unless you hand them that power. You can't change where you started, but you can change where you're going, and that begins the moment you stop justifying your limits. The difference between those who grow and those who remain stuck is not opportunity, it's accountability. Winners own their mistakes, learn, adapt, and move forward. Losers explain, complain, and remain in the same place year after year. Growth begins the moment your excuses end. Rejecting excuses also means rejecting the victim mentality. Life will be unfair, challenges will come, people will disappoint you, but blaming them will never bring peace or progress. You can't control everything that happens to you, but you can control how you respond. You can turn pain into purpose, failure into lessons, and struggle into strength. The moment you say, I am responsible for my life, you move from powerless to powerful. Responsibility doesn't mean guilt, it means authority. It means you have the ability to choose, to decide, to act. That's where true freedom lies, not in avoiding struggle, but in owning your story and shaping it with courage. Excuses may protect your ego, but they destroy your evolution. They whisper comfort now, but cause regret later. And regret is heavier than effort. Winners would rather feel the temporary pain of discipline than the lifelong weight of what if. Every excuse you make builds a wall between you and your goals. Every action you take tears that wall down. The people who rise, the ones who achieve what others only dream of, are not the ones who had fewer obstacles. They are the ones who refuse to use obstacles as reasons to stop. They looked at their limitations and said, this is not an excuse. This is my reason to go harder. To reject excuses is to demand more from yourself, even when it's hard, even when it's inconvenient. It's deciding that your future matters more than your comfort. Your goals matter more than your feelings, and your vision matters more than your excuses. When you commit to that mindset, something powerful happens. Life starts opening doors that used to be locked. Opportunities appear where excuses used to live. Your energy changes because your belief changes. You move from I can't to I will. You begin to feel unstoppable, not because everything is easy, but because you no longer accept weakness disguised as logic. So whenever your mind starts crafting reasons to delay, remember this: excuses will always be available, but so will excellence. You just can't have both. Every time you choose to act instead of excuse, you strengthen the muscle of self-mastery. And one day, when people look at your success, they'll call it luck, not knowing it was built by hundreds of quiet moments where you simply refused to make an excuse. That's the mindset that wins daily. The mindset that says, no more reasons, no more waiting, no more excuses. I am responsible, I am ready, and I will rise. Embrace the struggle, because the struggle is not your enemy, it's your greatest teacher. Every person who has ever achieved something meaningful has walked through pain, doubt, and pressure. But what separates the winners from the quitters is how they respond to that struggle. Most people run from difficulty. They look for comfort, shortcuts, or easy exits. But those who win daily understand that struggle is the birthplace of strength. It's where your character is shaped, where your discipline is tested, and where your limits are redefined. You cannot grow without resistance, just like muscles cannot develop without weight. The pain you avoid today becomes the weakness you carry tomorrow, but the pain you face and endure becomes the power that pushes you forward. Struggle exposes who you are. It reveals your patience, your faith, your determination. It shows whether you're driven by convenience or by conviction. When everything is easy, everyone looks confident. But when life hits hard, when the plan falls apart, when progress feels invisible, That's when your true mindset is revealed. That's when you discover whether your belief was shallow or solid. Struggle strips away excuses and forces you to meet your real self, the one that must choose between quitting or growing. And the beautiful truth is, every time you choose to embrace the struggle instead of escaping it, you come out stronger, sharper, and wiser. You start trusting yourself in ways you never did before, because you've proven you can survive the storms that once scared you. It's easy to see struggle as punishment, but it's actually preparation. Every challenge is molding you into the kind of person who can handle the success you're praying for. Sometimes you're not denied, you're being developed. The delay, the disappointment, the detour, they're not there to destroy you, but to strengthen your foundation. If you received every blessing without any struggle, you wouldn't have the capacity to sustain it. The struggle is what gives you roots before wings. It grounds you, humbles you, and teaches you gratitude. It reminds you that nothing worthwhile is ever handed out. It's earned through persistence and patience. When you embrace the struggle, you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this teaching me?" That shift changes everything. Instead of feeling like a victim of circumstances, you become a student of life. You begin to see purpose in your pain. You understand that pressure creates diamonds, not comfort. The hard seasons refine you, revealing parts of your strength that you never knew existed. You realize that every setback was setting you up for something greater, not to break you, but to build you. That's the secret winners live by. They don't just endure pain, they use it. They channel their struggle into fuel, their frustration into focus, and their failures into lessons. Embracing struggle also means accepting imperfection. You don't have to have it all figured out. Growth is messy, uncomfortable, and unpredictable. But that's okay, because progress is not about perfection, it's about persistence. You'll fall, you'll fail, you'll get tired, but those moments are part of the climb. Every scar tells a story of resilience. Every mistake teaches wisdom that success never could. When you stop fighting the struggle and start flowing with it, life becomes lighter. You stop wasting energy resisting what's hard and start using that energy to rise through it. There's a deep peace that comes when you finally stop fearing struggle. You realize that it's not there to defeat you, it's there to define you. You begin to understand that the hardest seasons often produce the strongest souls. The most compassionate hearts were once broken. The most disciplined minds were once scattered. The most confident people were once insecure. Struggle is the classroom where greatness is taught. It's not glamorous, it's not easy, but it's sacred. It's where you meet your own resilience face to face. It's where you build the kind of inner strength that no comfort zone could ever provide. When you start embracing struggle, you also start respecting time. You no longer rush the process or compare your journey to others. You trust that your path has its own rhythm, its own timing. You stop envying people who seem ahead because you understand that their story isn't yours. You're too focused on growing through your grind to worry about someone else's highlight reel. The struggle teaches patience, the kind of patience that says, even if it takes longer than I thought, I'll still keep going. And that patience is power. It's what transforms you from reactive to resilient, from anxious to anchored. So when life feels heavy, when things fall apart, when the road feels endless, remind yourself, this struggle is building something in you that success alone never could. It's making you unbreakable. It's teaching you how to rise, how to endure, and how to believe even when there's no visible reason to. Every great story of victory begins with a chapter of struggle. Don't rush through it. Walk through it. Learn from it. Let it shape you into someone stronger than your circumstances, calmer than your chaos, and braver than your fears. Because when you embrace the struggle, you no longer see it as suffering, you see it as sculpting. And one day, when you look back, you'll realize the very struggle that once made you cry was the same one that made you powerful enough to win every single day. Set small daily wins, because greatness is not built in one giant leap. It's built one small step at a time. The world celebrates big achievements, but what it doesn't show you are the thousands of quiet, unseen moments that led to them. The early mornings, the late nights, the tiny victories that no one clapped for. True winners understand that success isn't a moment, it's a process. It's not something you achieve once, it's something you earn every single day through consistency, focus, and small daily actions. You don't need to do everything at once. You just need to do one meaningful thing each day that moves you closer to who you want to become. When you focus on small daily wins, you remove the pressure of perfection. You stop waiting for the big break and start creating momentum through progress. One workout, one chapter, one healthy choice, one conversation, one extra hour of discipline, it all counts. These small wins may look insignificant at first, but they build the foundation of unstoppable confidence. Every small victory sends a message to your brain that says, I'm capable, I can do this. And over time, that belief becomes your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries and start seeing yourself as someone who does. That's how transformation begins. Not through giant goals, but through tiny wins, repeated daily with intention. The reason many people quit is because they measure success by big results instead of consistent effort. They look at the mountain and feel overwhelmed, forgetting that the climb happens step by step. But those who understand the power of small wins don't focus on how far they have to go. They focus on the next step right in front of them. Each day becomes an opportunity to advance, even slightly. And those small, deliberate advances create massive results over time. Momentum is built through movement, not miracles. The secret to winning daily is to keep stacking those wins, no matter how small they seem. Small wins also train your mind to appreciate progress instead of perfection. They remind you that improvement, not instant success, is the real goal. You begin to see the value of effort, of consistency, of showing up. You realize that it's not about doing everything perfectly today. It's about doing something purposefully every day. That's the discipline of champions. They don't wait for inspiration, they act on commitment. They know that repetition creates rhythm, and rhythm creates results. When you start celebrating small wins, you stay motivated because your brain starts associating effort with reward. Each small achievement becomes fuel for the next one. There's a hidden power in the psychology of small wins. Every time you accomplish a task, your brain releases dopamine, a chemical that creates a feeling of satisfaction and motivation. That's why celebrating small victories matters. It rewires your brain to crave consistency. It teaches you to fall in love with the process instead of just the outcome. Most people fail not because they lack ability, but because they lose enthusiasm along the way. But when you acknowledge your small wins, you remind yourself that progress is happening, even if it's not visible to everyone else. That keeps your fire alive. Small wins build momentum, and momentum builds mastery. The more you move, the easier it becomes to keep moving. Each small step pushes you beyond fear, beyond procrastination, beyond doubt. And before you know it, those small daily actions start transforming your life in ways that big, inconsistent efforts never could. The compound effect of steady improvement is extraordinary. Just like how drops of water can carve through stone, your consistent actions shape your destiny. You don't need to take massive leaps. You just need to keep walking forward without giving up. Winners don't underestimate small progress because they understand that every masterpiece starts as a sketch. They know that the difference between success and stagnation lies in what you do daily, not occasionally. Consistency is more powerful than intensity. It's better to do something small every day than to do something big once and stop. When you live with that mindset, each day becomes meaningful. You stop wasting time waiting for someday and start building your dreams today. You learn to find pride in the process, to see beauty in the grind, and to value growth even when no one notices it. Setting small daily wins also keeps your goals realistic and achievable. When your goals are too large or abstract, they feel distant and discouraging. But when you break them down into daily actions, they become tangible. You can track them, measure them, and feel them. Each completed task becomes a reminder that you are moving forward. And progress, even slow progress, is still progress. The power of daily wins is that they compound, they multiply over time, they shape your habits, and your habits shape your future. Every day is a new opportunity to win, not to prove anything to the world, but to prove to yourself that you're committed to your own growth. Winning daily means showing up when no one's watching, doing your best when it's hard, and appreciating every step along the way. Because when you stack enough small wins, something magical happens. They turn into big victories. One day you'll look back and realize that what once felt impossible became natural because of the small decisions you made consistently. So don't underestimate the power of a single day. Don't overlook the value of a single effort. Every small win matters. Every tiny action counts. Keep stacking them. The workouts, the prayers, the study sessions, the acts of kindness, the discipline, the moments of focus, because they're shaping a version of you that is unstoppable. When you commit to winning daily, even in the smallest ways, you build a life that reflects excellence, not by accident, but by design. And that's the true mindset of someone who wins. Not someday, but every single day. Surround yourself with strength, because the people around you shape the person you become. You cannot expect to live a powerful life while keeping company with weak energy. Your environment is either feeding your growth or poisoning your progress. Every conversation, every interaction, every circle you belong to is either building your mindset or breaking it down. The truth is, you can't soar like an eagle if you spend your time walking with pigeons. If you want to build a mindset that wins daily, you must be intentional about the company you keep. The people you surround yourself with are not just part of your life, they are part of your mindset. We often underestimate the power of influence. Human energy is contagious. If you stay around negative, lazy, or bitter people long enough, you begin to mirror their mindset without even realizing it. Their fears become your fears. Their limits become your limits. Their habits become your habits. You start to think smaller, talk smaller, dream smaller. But the opposite is also true. When you spend time around disciplined, positive, purpose-driven people, something inside you shifts. You begin to elevate without force. Their ambition awakens your own. Their energy challenges you to do better. That's the quiet power of association. You rise or you sink, depending on who you're walking with. The people you keep close to you should inspire you, not drain you. They should challenge your comfort zones, not feed your excuses. If your circle only makes you feel safe, but never makes you grow, it's not a circle, it's a cage. Winners choose their surroundings with purpose. They seek people who speak vision, not gossip, who talk ideas, not complaints, who celebrate your success instead of being threatened by it. Because real strength doesn't compete, it uplifts. You need people who clap when you win, guide you when you fall, and remind you who you are when you forget. You need voices that fuel your fire, not those that quietly extinguish it. But surrounding yourself with strength isn't just about others. It's about the environment you create for yourself. It's about curating what you read, what you watch, what you listen to, and what you consume mentally every day. Everything that enters your mind becomes part of your thought process. If you feed your mind with chaos, fear, and drama, you'll think in chaos, fear, and drama. But if you feed it with learning, hope, and purpose, your mindset naturally grows. Winners understand that success is built by design, not by default. They protect their mental space as fiercely as a warrior protects their shield. Sometimes, you will have to make the hard choice to distance yourself from certain people. Not because you're better than them, but because you're serious about your growth. Not everyone is meant to walk every season with you. Some people are lessons, not lifelong companions. It doesn't mean you stop caring about them. It means you start caring about yourself enough to set boundaries. Protecting your peace is not selfish, it's essential. You can't pour into others if you are constantly being drained. The people who truly value you will respect your need for space. And those who don't were never meant to grow with you anyway. When you begin to surround yourself with strength, something changes within you. You start thinking bigger. You begin to expect more from yourself. You realize that excellence isn't rare, it's just rarely chosen. You start feeling accountable because you're no longer surrounded by mediocrity. You're surrounded by people who live with intention. You see how they handle pressure, how they stay disciplined, how they move with focus, and you begin to absorb that energy. Growth becomes your new normal. You stop seeking approval and start seeking alignment. Alignment with people who push you toward your purpose, not away from it. And here's the truth, Strong people don't make you comfortable, they make you grow. They tell you the truth when it's hard to hear. They challenge your excuses and remind you of your potential. They hold you to a higher standard because they see the greatness inside you. At first, it may feel uncomfortable, even intimidating, but that's exactly how growth feels. You can't evolve in an environment that always agrees with your weakness. You grow where you are stretched, not where you are soothed. Surrounding yourself with strength also means learning how to contribute to the strength of others. Don't just look for people who inspire you. Become the person who inspires others. Be the one who brings light into the room, who encourages, uplifts, and empowers. True strength is not selfish, it's shared. The more you give, the more you grow. When your presence inspires others to rise, you create a ripple effect that turns your circle into a movement of growth, discipline, and positivity. That's how winning mindsets multiply, through connection, influence, and shared energy. The journey to success is long and often lonely, but the right people make it bearable and even beautiful. They remind you of your why. When you forget, they lift you when you fall. They celebrate your courage even when you fail. They don't just stand beside you when things go right, they stand behind you when things go wrong. That kind of loyalty is rare, but it's worth protecting with everything you have. Because when your circle is strong, you are strong. So look around and ask yourself, who is feeding your focus and who is feeding your fear? Who is helping you evolve and who is keeping you stagnant? If you want to build a mindset that wins daily, choose your company wisely. Because energy doesn't lie, it transfers. The right people will remind you of your power. The wrong people will make you forget it. Surround yourself with those who speak life, think growth, act with purpose, and walk with integrity. And as you do, you'll realize that strength doesn't just come from within, it also comes from those you choose to walk beside you on the road to greatness.